So this is the new BMW M3. Well, this isn't the M3, this is the M4, because BMW have changed the range, so the 3 Series Saloon Estates are now 3 Series, and then the coupes and the convertibles are 4 Series. Although they do a 4 Series Grand Coupe, which is a 4-door version of a 2-door version of a 4-door car. Although they must know what they're doing, because they're a multi-billion pound global company, and I'm an idiot that makes videos and puts them on the internet, so take from that what you will. So if this is the new M3 coupe, it's got a lot to live up to, because obviously the M3 is like a real cult classic among petrol heads. It all kicked off back in 1985 with the E30, and that was a huge hit, and then you had the E36, E46, and then this car's predecessor, the E90 series. And the people that love the E90, obviously that was the first thing they moaned about, is the fact that BMW have now got rid of the E90's V8 and swapped it with a brand new twin turbo inline 6. In my mind, M cars have always been quite raspy. You know, the inline 4 with the E30, then the inline 6 of the E36 and E46, and even the V8 I thought was raspy. The one thing that annoys me actually about the sound isn't the sound the car makes, it's the fact that BMW have for some reason tried to put artificial noise coming through the speakers. I just, you know, that's annoying. Just leave as it is. But other than that, you can forgive them for swapping out the V8. Not to mention, I actually thought the old E90 V8 BMW M3s were kind of gutless. I mean, they only had about 290 foot-pound of torque, and now the new twin-turbo inline 6 puts out 420 brake and 410 foot-pound of torque, so over 100 more than the last one. In this car now, 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds, and it'll go into 155 mile an hour if you keep the limiter on. The only problem now is I'm trying to keep this car's rear wheels stuck to the road, and it's harder work than that time I was Chris Brown's PR agent. I'm just at his now, he's just upstairs getting ready. We should be at the talk show in about an hour and a half. Yeah, no, he's doing all his anger management courses. No violence or anything. Yeah, no, he's really turning everything around. Okay, alright, bye. For fuck's sake. Chris! I know people are going to miss the old V8, but yeah, you can't argue with the fact that this car is so much quicker than the old one. She sounds pretty good too, but that's partly down to the fact that this car's not exactly stock, but I'll get to that later on. Handle's great, steering's really sharp. It's actually the first M3 where they've put electronic power steering on, which I know people kind of, you know, moan about, because you don't get the road feel, steering feel as it were, but you know, these cars nowadays are being used more and more as dailies. People don't want to feel every pothole, and obviously I live in the UK, so there's fucking loads of them. The power is delivered to the rear wheels via either a 6-speed manual gearbox or a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. This car's got the £2,500 7-speed dual clutch transmission option, and as you'd expect, it changes gears lightning fast. If you want to take it easy, whack it in auto. Can't even feel it. And if you don't want to take it easy, much like with the old M3, you've got buttons here on the console which let you adjust steering response, throttle response, suspension, traction control modes, gear changes, all that sort of stuff. Have a play with it, get it how you like, and then you can save it to either the one of the 2 buttons here on the steering wheel, and that also changes the heads-up display. So obviously the M3 and the M4 is based on the 3 and the 4 Series. You get performance and practicality. The 3 Series is obviously a bit more practical. There's slightly less room in the back of the M4, but it's better than most 2+2s I've been in. Feels very M car in here, reminds me of the E90. It does feel a bit nicer, a bit techier, techier if that's a word. The iDrive you've still got, that's been updated, so it works a lot better, and it's also a lot nicer on the eye. As with most new cars nowadays, you get loads of mod cons, so you've got cruise control, air conditioning, heated seats, front and rear parking sensors, and you get a carbon fibre roof. You can actually swap it out for a sunroof or a moon roof, I think they call it. And I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but I think I'd have the sunroof. I know I've always gone about carbon fibre, but I feel like I get more out of a sunroof. I'm a sucker for a sun pan roof. Sue me. Speaking of carbon fibre, there's actually loads on the outside as well, but those are aftermarket parts the owners put on to make it stand out a little bit more than stock. So you've got carbon fibre side skirt, diffuser, spoiler, side gills, and he's also had the front kidney grills, which are originally chrome, painted in gloss black, which I think looks really nice. Not only that, but the owner has lowered the car over 1.5 inches on the front and over 1 inch on the rear, thanks to new H&R Super Sport springs fitted by K-Tech Racing in Bournemouth. As standard, the M4 comes with 19-inch wheels, but the owner has put on a set of gorgeous 20-inch Vorsteiner, not quite sure how to say it, VFF 102s, which look incredible. They're supplied by Bramley Motor Cars down in Surrey, and they are 9.5 inch wide on the front, 10 inch wide on the rear. The concave looks amazing, and now this car, coupled with the springs, sits so well. It looks so mean, it's like a bulldog. I was actually behind this car on the road with another M4 next to it, completely stock, and the difference is night and day. That being said, I think the stock M4 does look lovely. It looks so much better than the old E90, I think. Much sharper, much more aggressive. You still get the quad tailpipe, you still get that lovely hump on the bonnet as well, so you know it's special. So another thing this owner's done to make the car stand out from stock is change the exhaust. So what he's done is he's swapped out the primary cats, put in IPE downpipes fitted by Ciara in London. He's also had an hour on gauge fitted where one of these vents here on the centre console goes, and that lets you see all the horsepower, torque, and that sort of thing. But it also lets you override the car's original valve system, so you can open and close the valves whenever you want, and the result, ridiculous. This car sounds so much better than stock. Just barks. You know, you can keep your V8. Perhaps the best mod of all though is that the owner has taken this car down to DMS in Southampton and he's had it remapped. So this car now puts out over 520 brake horsepower and over 500 foot-pound of torque. God help you if you take this thing out in the wet. I think it'd be scarier than the first time James Kingston took me climbing. I don't know if I can do this, James.
Come on, man. I'm right here. It's fine.
I don't know, dude. I'm freaking out.
Dude, you got it. Come on. It's getting late. We need to go.
Okay. Nailed it.
Such a dick.
Where are you going? For those of you who don't know who James Kingston is, he also makes videos on YouTube. But instead of explaining what he does, I will just show you because words don't really do it justice. Well, that crazy SOB lent me his car while he's away to do a review on. And I think actually him giving me his car is probably the most frightened he's ever been. I don't know why people keep trusting me with their cars. If you want to see more of James, I'll put a link in the description so you can check out his channel. Loads of really cool stuff as well as vlogs. And he's also into cars and motorbikes and everything, so he's a wicked dude. Go follow him. So yeah, big thank you to you, James, for letting me use your car and trusting me not to put it into a wall. Because obviously that's the last thing I want to do, given that this car is £55,000 plus options. The M3 Saloon is about 500 quid cheaper, and unfortunately they don't make an estate. Because I wish they did, because that would be sick. And for those of you that don't have that sort of money to just spend it cash, had a look online, and the latest like BMW finance offer they have at the moment is about 9,300 quid down with 2,100 coming from the dealer. You're limited to about 10,000 miles a year over 4 years. You get a 22 grand balloon, 5.9% APR, and you can have an M4 for about 650 quid a month. So there you go. And that's not me promoting BMW's financial services or anything like that. You can get finance however you like if you want it. I just wanted to give you guys a rough idea of what it's going to cost because I'm into that sort of real world stuff. Lap times are cool and everything, but I'm not that interested. All I want to know is, can I afford it? And does it have launch control? It does have launch control, but I can't afford it. For those of you who don't want to buy a brand new one, I've had a look online at the second-hand market, and you can find a 2014 64 plate, so 2 years old-ish, with about 20,000 miles on it, and they're just over £40,000. So I reckon with options, you could save yourself anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe like 20 grand. I don't know. It depends on how it's spec'd. So that's pretty good. If you're looking at getting an M3 or an M4, there's a couple of options I'd consider. LED adaptive headlights, which are really good. They're about £1,600. Carbon fibre interior trim, which I don't think is really good. That's about 400 quid. For about 825 quid, you can get the heads-up display. Reversing camera is about 300 quid, and it also has this like bird's eye surround park assist thing, which is another 500 quid. Harman Kardon surround system is about 675 quid. I think that's really, really well priced. Most cars it's like thousands of pounds, and the sound system is incredible. The standard steel discs are really good, but you can get carbon ceramics if you want, but they're over 6,000 quid. And lastly, comfort access is about 500 quid, which means you can get into the car without using any keys. And if you've got your hands full and you want to get into the boot, all you've got to do is wave your foot underneath it and you can get in. So it's very sophisticated. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is running costs. So the first is road tax on a brand new one is about 600 quid, and every year after that is about 270 quid, which is actually half of what the old E90 was. I think that's partly down obviously to the new twin turbo inline 6, which is a lot more fuel efficient. BMW say this car will do 35 miles to the gallon. I would budget for more like 25. It's got a 60 litre fuel tank, which will cost you in today's money about 65 quid to fill up, and it'll do 300-ish miles to a tank. The car needs to be serviced every 15 to 18,000 miles, depending on how you drive. It goes little service, big service, little service, big service, and so on. Little service is 340 quid, and a big service is over £1,100, which I thought was quite expensive actually for this car. BMW actually do have a service plan, which is 1,000 quid when you first buy the car, and that covers you for 50,000 miles or 5 years. And at 1,000 quid, it's already cheaper than a big service. So given you're going to have 3, I think it's 2 littles and 1 big, you're going to save yourself some money. The standard tyres the car comes with are 255/35s on the front and 275/35s on the rear. So they will cost you from between £70 to £190 for each on the front, and between £80 and £230 each on the rear. I also asked BMW how much the discs and pads were on the car, because I feel like that's something people are going to go through as well. It is £200 for the front pads and £880 for the front discs, and then it's £150 for the rear pads and £680 for the rear discs. All the figures that I've spoke about in terms of cost, parts, servicing, all that sort of thing, this is for the UK on UK cars. So if you're interested in anything that I've said and you live outside of the UK, Google it. I'm not your mum. So there we go, the BMW M3 M4. Looks great, sounds great, goes like a bat out of hell. It's basically a 3 or 4 series on steroids. So if you want a practical car that packs a punch, go and get one. If you did like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And let me know in the comments, what would you rather have, this new M3 M4 or the old V8? Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all soon. 150 mark, blah, 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 blah. So standard steel dicks. Standard steel dicks. It does work. Hang on.
You've been practicing that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh mate, have I been practicing it? I
yeah.
fucking wrote it.
Yeah, you literally wrote it.
That's why it's dreadful and there's loads of spelling mistakes.
Yeah.
Hey buddy. Can't have you come home with me, because if you do anything inside that car, the guy who owns it is going to drop kick me in the face.